Are you ready to disrupt? I certainly am. Michael Heaver here with co-host Andre Walker. Andre, how are you, mate?
Absolutely fantastic. The channel seems to be going really, really well, so I'm absolutely delighted.
Yeah, no, the feedback's been brilliant, and thanks for all your kind comments, guys. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you've hit subscribe and the bell if you haven't yet. We don't want you to miss what is going to be a regular collection of videos from myself and Andre on this channel. But look, Andre, I want to first talk about it's remarkable, really. Even as some hardline Remainers in the UK cling on to the notion that the EU's done nothing wrong in terms of its vaccine procurement compared to Brexit UK. Guy Verhofstadt, it doesn't come any more hard line in Brussels in terms of EU supporters. Guy Verhofstadt even now saying that although he loves the EU, he describes their vaccine strategy as a fiasco, also describing the EU's behaviour over Article 16, that shambles that we saw of the Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol in the EU. It's describing that as a diplomatic disaster.
Well, that's absolutely right. But I'll tell you something about Guy Verhofstadt. There's something that I quite like about him. Now, remember, he is one of the ugliest men in politics in terms of both his looks and his views, but he is at least honest. He admits that he wants to create a federal European superstate. And I remember one thing that he said in the Brexit debate, where he said, look, actually, we should give an honest opinion to London. We should be saying to the British people that we do believe in a federal superstate. We do believe that the nation state should be abolished. We do admit that Europe is a country. And I actually think that if more European politicians were honest like that, people would have more respect for the EU. I still wouldn't vote for membership of the European Union. But I'll tell you what, I'd be more inclined to vote for people who are honest than I would with those people that are dishonest. But look, let me give you some figures that are going to absolutely knock your socks off. This is from a couple of days ago. Scotland, 20.6% of people vaccinated. England, 21.1% of people vaccinated. Wales, 22.9% of people are vaccinated. Northern Ireland, 19.9% of people vaccinated. Republic of Ireland, 3.2%. Now, which of those is a member of the European Union? And actually, we've seen just on our own doorstep a country in the British Isles which has suffered really badly from the shambolic situation that Europe has presided over.
Well, look, I certainly think it just shows once again why the UK, why Brits were absolutely right in their vote to leave and never giving up and refusing to cave in to the establishment's Project Fear. But as someone who's briefly a British MEP, I can tell you, Andre, the people in the EU, many of them, they view the EU as a religion. It's fanaticism, political fanaticism. In their view, the answer to every problem is more EU. So to see this level of criticism, even from someone like Guy Verhofstadt, shows you just what a mess the EU has made of this. And who would have thunk it, having an unelected EU Commission running the show compared to an accountable government is not a very good thing. Now, we led on this before, Andre, in a previous episode on Gavin Williamson, the Education Secretary, and this attempt to give greater protections when it comes to freedom of speech on university campuses. We've also seen Williamson, far from backing down, now saying that universities have ceded control of guest talks to violent protesters and announcing plans to compensate people who had invitations to speak withdrawn. And what I find interesting about this, Andre, is it'll be very telling to see, and we've already seen some people, but it'll be very telling to see who actually opposes having free speech enhanced on university campuses, will it not?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see kind of the usual suspects, won't we, from the Labour Party and indeed the Liberal Democrats. I mean, I think it's really, really sad. And you know something? The Liberal Democrats, it always amazes me. They're no longer Liberal and they're certainly not Democrats. They waited 150 years for a popular revolution to come along. It came along in the form of Brexit and they backed the Goldman Sachs position. They are unbelievable. They don't believe in free speech and they don't believe in democracy. But I think it's really, really sad. And we keep saying to young people, first of all, that there can only be one opinion. Secondly, that they will be crushed if they dissent in any way from the standard view.
Now, we're going to regularly touch on opinion polls because unlike others who continually ignore British public opinion, I think it's very important, Andre, that we do touch base with the mood of the country. And so we look at this opinion poll recently, I think it's from a few days ago, Keir Starmer has fallen behind Boris Johnson as best Prime Minister for the first time since the earliest days of his leadership. This opinion also finding the Conservatives' poll lead has risen to 5 points over Labour. Now, I do think this is important because all too often the likes of The Guardian and others sort of put themselves inside this cocoon. And I think it's very important that we on this show continually to refer to what British mainstream public opinion is. So, Andrew, what do you make of those poll findings? Not good for Labour, certainly not good for Keir Starmer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've always said about Keir Starmer, you know, Captain Hindsight. Yes, he's got the competence element that Corbyn didn't have, but I still don't think anybody actually wants to vote for him. And I think that will be borne out in the fullness of time. I think that my own view on all of this is that I think Corbyn's doing better than he probably would do. People are not happy with the way that Boris Johnson has been so woolly about when the lockdown is going to end and been so unclear on that. But the truth of the matter is the Labour Party are even worse. And I genuinely think that if the Conservatives do what they want to do, or what they say they want to do, which is end the lockdown quickly, then I believe that they will win the next general election relatively convincingly. But the concern is that they keep dragging this out. You know, if it were me, if I was still working for the Conservative Party, I'd say to them, look, this vaccine rollout has been phenomenal. The EU has been terrible, but always remember, the UK has also been one of the best countries in the world. What you need to do is accept that you are now at a stage where you've protected the elderly and vulnerable, end the lockdown, go back to work, and I think you'll then get away with it. The problem, of course, comes if things drag on for longer. But Keir Starmer, his only argument is to make the lockdown longer and to hand out more compensation. And my point is, where is the money coming from?
Well, I'll tell you what's not crazy, the Disrupt Media channel. We're surging quickly, so thanks for your support. As I said, make sure you've hit subscribe. Me and Andre are going to be doing regular shows here. Love to hear your comments on what you would like to see us talk about in the next episode. Do let us know and do give us any feedback, guys. Unlike some in the mainstream media, we're not sort of ignoring public opinion. We want to engage with you. It's, you know, Andre, what I find exciting about this new project that we're doing is that ability from the ground level to have people watching, giving us that feedback, giving us that encouragement, and also any constructive criticism. We've really got a fantastic opportunity here to build a new channel on YouTube that can really reach out and talk about things in a way that the mainstream media simply are not doing.
Amen to that, brother.